We are now live, absent a drum roll. Yeah, there you go. Quiet one. Yeah, understated is better. Sam, do you want to go ahead first?
Sure. Right. What is going on? Working in reverse chronological. I've just been doing the distribution of textbooks. This is for the engineering software as a service textbook that we do. Yeah. So that's gone out. That's one. I've sort of semi-automated it. Connects me to the whole automation of emails for marketing. But anyway, I've apparently MailChimp gives a 15% discount for nonprofits. There are all sorts of discounts and bonuses for nonprofits out there, and we are going to get all of them, or at least a good proportion of them. So yeah, that's the main things that have happened this morning. I've been reviewing website one, PRs, we had a nice flurry of activity voting on things, trying to like basically get us towards it being easier to upgrade to different levels of premium, and also make the call to action stronger on the website, as we have now had another 500 click-throughs from our ongoing Google AdWords campaign. So that's exciting stuff. No blockers. My hopes are that maybe Matt and I can pair after the Scrum, maybe at the top of the hour after I've got some tea and bagels, and we can look together at that GitHub thing and other bits and pieces for website one.
Great. How did the marketing meeting go yesterday? Anything come out of it?
Yeah, a good meeting. Yeah, I mean, the main thing that we got out of it, Marufa had done some alternate ads. I'd had for Federico. I mean, we were, and Lara was giving us the benefit of her experience with AdWords and about the process of designing these ads and making sure that the keywords are not competing with each other, and so on and so forth. And she shared in the marketing channel a video on like how to do AdWords, and so yeah, Marufa has reviewed that, and we're kind of the setup is, I think we kind of agreed, or maybe I imposed, that we're not, it's basically working. We're driving some more traffic to the site. There's lots of room for improvement, but we're not like in a kind of headless chicken, oh, we must change it. So, the ongoing thing is, right, let's keep working towards, improving the ads, driving people to the right places in the site, and so on. And then that was the second half, was all about sort of reviewing the site and thinking about the flow through the site. And do we have a funnel? Are we making it, clear to people what the next steps are once they've come to the site? What do you do? I mean, I always feel a little bit nervous about these things because I'm like, oh no, we're like an evil corporation trying to force you into doing the wrong thing. But I guess it's also about just pure usability. If you're encouraging people to do something, don't assume that they know what it is that you want them to do or how they do it. So I think, there we go. So that's funneled into, what's the word? Yeah, this more activity on sort of redesigning and simplifying pathways through the website. Yeah, everything in the Trello board. Yeah, I think that's about the size of it from the marketing meeting yesterday. Sorry to forget to mention that.
Yeah, that's great. Good progress. Matt, you want to go next?
Yeah, I just finished a PR I'm echoing. An event manager, the second feature, so that's good. It's just now the events page is just showing future events, and I guess after this I'll work on the GitHub integration with website one with after I get some coffee too. I think that's it. Oh, the only comment about the marketing is I'm still gung-ho on the newsletter, because I think that would be a good way to reinforce, oh, and by the way, you can join, and here's how to get into a new project, and maybe it'll take some of the load off of you introducing yourself to everybody too, because they'll get this newsletter that says, oh, here's how I join a project, and here's.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I had forgotten. We did also discuss the newsletter in the marketing meeting, and we went through that. And that's kind of the tasks I gave to Marufa, the intern, was to read up on the AdWords and kind of like continue crafting campaigns, and also maybe take the lead on the newsletter. She said she'd prefer to just stick with the AdWords for the moment and maybe move on to the newsletter next week. But do jump in. There's a Trello board which is public. And
I did create a task for that. Now maybe I'll put my
I'll just and partly for oh, now I've lost the tab. I've lost the window with the hold on. Oh no, I've lost where you are. Oh no, there you are. You're in one of my teaming tabs. Here we go. Right. Yeah, so this is the Trello board, and yeah, I mean we're going to this mode where we're like the marketing meetings are being videoed and recorded, but we're not doing the public broadcasting thing just because Marufa was a bit nervous about it. But the video links are going into the marketing channel, and the marketing board is open. And yeah, so we've got like a newsletter thing here, and so Marufa had done some thinking about it, and I was able to give her feedback about what the target should be, what it should be called, just call it the newsletter, and like the kinds of things that would be included. But so I think this is for her, not since she's not so familiar with Agile Ventures, it's sort of maybe a more intimidating thing for her to get started on. So, but yeah, do come in here, and I'd say any thoughts that you have about the newsletter and so on. Have you used Trello before, by the way?
No, but it looks.
Yeah, it's just a Trivial Tracker or Waffle or whatever. It's sort of a simplified version that's actually, I think, in some ways less complex off the bat. So it's great for if you've got a mixed level of ability technical team. I mean, or technical mixed with non-technical and so on. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. But yeah, what I've sort of said is the next task here is, Marufa was starting to say, oh, what about the PDF and does it? And I said, let's just make our first text draft of what the first newsletter might be, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think a text newsletter is fine for the
first time out.
But okay.
Matt, does that link that Sam posted there work for you? Because it doesn't work for me. I get an error when I try.
What is it?
I just posted the Trello link into the Google chat there.
You might not be in the project.
Maybe.
Board not found? Oh, this board may be private. Oh yeah, that's probably what happened. It's just.
But I think that the
board not found.
I think you may have to join like our top level team, perhaps. Oh gosh.
Well, it may not be worth worrying about.
No. Well, you carry on with the reporting, and I'll fiddle with it in the background and try and invite you in or what have you.
Oh, you got to join Trello.com. Looks like.
Maybe that's okay. All right, cool. Thanks, Matt. Sorry to be drinking coffee in front of a caffeine-starved individual. You should tell me not to drink coffee if you're feeling that way. It's not fair. Excuse me. For myself, I've typical. I've spent some time on MetPlus. I reviewed a lot of stories, especially UI stuff. I pair programmed with Hinesh yesterday after the America Scrum to go over where he's at with a UI story he's working on. I had some comments he needed clarification on. And I did pair programming with Sigu. He's working on a story having to do with a mail preview. And so we made progress on that as well. So that's MetPlus. On SHF, I reviewed a lot of stories yesterday. So a lot of stuff piling up from both Susanna as well as Ashley. And that's it for me. Short update. Not a lot done yesterday, other than review PRs and review stories. Excuse me. So one of the things I was wondering, if you guys know this, can we prevent hound items from appearing in notification channels? Because
I mean, I think the main thing. Yeah. I saw you had that big thing.
They're just all, the hound stuff is just all noise level in the notification channels. They're good on the GitHub site.
Well, and I would say that actually all of the hound stuff is included in Code Climate. So what I've done now is basically I've removed the simple solution that the Sam recommended is remove hound and use Code Climate. Because what Code Climate will do is it will take all of the things that hound might say and it will put them in a single report, which you click through to get to. I mean, if you're particularly keen on the kind of embedded comments one by one for all of the 18 different places where the space has been moved incorrectly, by all means carry on using hound. But I think Code Climate is the way forward.
Does Code Climate have that enabled by default, or do you have to make a setting change? I'll look around.
It has that by default. What I think you will find is that Code Climate out of the box, but both Code Climate and Hound are using Rubocop under the hood to do that analysis. And both Hound and CodeClimate have a both have a Rubicon.yaml file that controls what it is. By default, the Hound one is much more verbose, like me, and the CodeClimate one is much less verbose, like Michael. If you can imagine the difference.
Okay, that's a good analogy. Yep.
But so and with Hound, you kind of have to be sort of explicit. Well, I've had all sorts of trouble with the Hound one. The CodeClimate, there's a mechanism, there's a button you can press that then pulls the config files into your repository, and then you can start to make CodeClimate more and more verbose. And I think that's probably the better. It's a I would say that is the way I'd recommend going in, is sort of start with it there, and then if there is particular stuff that's missing, add that in, because that's just easier for everybody to manage, the slowly increasing up rather than going from like bang and then try to kind of gradually move it down.
Yeah, I'll look at that. Okay. Yeah, we're going to need we definitely have to put on our own configuration. If we go back to 80 characters per line, we're just going to be buried in line 2 long. I mean, literally buried.
Yeah.
Okay. Good advice. CodeClimate. Look into that. All right. I guess that's it for the Scrum. Thanks, Matt. I'll look into that. I'll join Trello, see if I can look at it, just for interest.
Yeah, I've just sent you an invite, Pat, to you. I was like, and then this is a link that's like so there's like the link to the board, and then it's showing me that there's this other link, which I think if you click on it will automatically invite you into the team, kind of thing.
Oh, I see that. Yep.
So I do actually have the board. I have the board as team visible at the moment, rather than completely public. It's yeah, I mean, I sort of held off the public because it's like it will show up to, in search engines like Google and so on, which is sort of slightly more public than we necessarily need at the moment. But yeah, okay. So anyway, you'll both be in there, and I think probably just to be. I mean, in some ways, it's like as it were, the business side of Agile Ventures. I kind of like, we're going for total transparency in all of the coding stuff and so on. The kind of while I want to enable learning, for every aspect of Agile Ventures and people interested in marketing and so on, whatever, I guess what I want to, like, it's actually outside of that area of learning about coding and Agile teams and this and the other. I feel like, particularly at the moment, we've got to focus on the efficiency. I mean, I've basically spent my life savings over the course of the last year, and this all needs to become very in the black very soon, from my point of view. So.
Yeah. I'm wondering what happens, just not to take up too much time on this, but when people do get the invite, they find Agile Ventures, they go and they join in new members, and we say, look around, see what you like. I wonder if it's a little bit daunting for people and they kind of just give up.
I'm sure that's true. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if maybe there's Thomas used to do this intro to AV once in a while, and it was sporadic, and I attended one of them. It was pretty good. It was like 20 minutes, maybe a half hour, talking about who we are. These are the projects. This is how we manage things. This is GitHub. All that good stuff, and made it really easy to kind of get on board and start thinking about this thing. I'm wondering if that would be something that maybe on a bi-weekly basis would be viable. And there we could also have people just weigh in and say, this is what I want to learn. This is what my background is, etc. And we can kind of say, well, this particular project is exactly right for you, or let me look around and get back to you, John.
Yeah.
And see what we can do. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, the thing I was just going to show, the thing we were talking about yesterday was about, you can come in here and there's no immediate call to action. And so the thing that we're just sort of making it so that maybe that we actually get the people signed up. No, I'm sure it's extraordinarily intimidating for many people. I mean, we're kind of, what we're going for the whole of the adventures is it's about throwing yourself in at the deep end. And so that's, I think, often for it's the case for many people that they want kind of like a step-by-step, here are these little things that we can do. I think, yes, if somebody was running those things on a bi-weekly basis, that would be extremely helpful. I mean, I think other kinds of sort of general meetings, I guess for me personally, I've lost the motivation to do a session where, it's like, see who turns up and ask them, answer questions like if they have them, it's kind of, I don't feel motivated to do that at the moment, but that I think it would be a very useful thing to be happening if there were people who were motivated to do it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I wouldn't suggest it. Definitely, it's not something that you should take on. You've got way too much anyway.
Thanks.
Well, maybe
Sam, if you want to pawn something off to other people, you could have mentors or something, you know.
Yeah, I think what I'd love to be seeing is both for the premiums and for everybody is kind of more highlighting of, you know, like who the mentors are, and like, you know, going to be a meet the mentor session, and you know, I think that's,
or just assign people, say, you know, mentoring right now, it's just you can ask questions. And then
yeah, I mean, I guess that would be an interesting thing, wouldn't it? Would you have like a you know, a session, you know, a weekly time when there was like, you know, mentor introduction to Agile Ventures, or ask the mentor. Yeah,
that's just an idea. Yeah.
I think that the I think it's good. The interesting thing then with all of these is, you know, you could almost imagine a mentor office hours thing, and but then you should feel like, oh, maybe just the premiums should have access to that. If the, you know, or I mean,
I think everybody would want to.
Say again.
You could just have office hours, and anybody can ask questions.
You can. I'm sure that's what that, you know, for the people who are, people of course love free things and not paying for them. What I then worry about is the burden on the mentors, and the mentors being willing to do that, and then also, you know, compensating the mentors. I mean, I want to, in my longer term vision that I think, well, I mean, I don't know if it's a shared vision at all, but I imagine us having, you know, very large numbers of premium members, and they're basically, rather than as it's currently the case where I'm kind of the go-to mentor for all of the premiums, that there would be many different mentors, and subsets of premiums would be focused around different mentors, and all of the mentors would be receiving compensation for their time and effort put into helping those folks, is what I sort of imagine us moving towards.
Yeah, maybe the first step before you compensate people is just, would you mind answering questions, you know, for this set of people?
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, I think that's yeah. We could be so, well. Certainly as an idea, we could propose it to the mentors and say, you know, is anybody willing to do these open sessions and try and make it sort of a regular thing? The part of me is tempted to kind of go, oh, I'm like, someone suggested this associate membership level, which is even cheaper, and like that maybe that you'd get it as a. I'm a little bit worried in some ways about what's, you know, making something that's available to all that's completely free. Do you know what I mean? And then there's this, that was sort of the philosophy that I really started Agile Ventures with. It's just like, you know, the MOOCs. It was like, yes, just everything. There's people seem to take your time more seriously and respect what you're offering seriously if you even have a tiny little charge associated with it, if you know what I mean. But they're different things, aren't they? There's one is like, for the people who are coming in and saying, well, I don't know what to do, where do I get started? Do we just focus on helping them come through and getting them onboarded, in the hope that later on they will somehow be contributing, you know, financially, or do we focus on saying, like, you know, here's this mentor session that's, you know, that's another incentive to like sort of put down your first, even, you know, minor initial payment. I mean,
yeah.
That's where I was going with my thought.
I like the idea of having steps. You know, first step, do this. Second step, get a membership. You know.
Yeah, the steps I think are very important. Sorry, Pat, what were you saying there about?
Yeah, what you articulated was exactly my thought too. Well, first of all, you know, what you're doing now is great, but it does not scale, as we all know. So what's the vision? I mean, I was thinking more of an intro to AV, kind of an ambassadorship program that the mentors, you know, host a meeting. Maybe it's bi-weekly, weekly. We invite people who are new members. We get on board and we just go over basic stuff about, this is who we are, this is how we operate, these are some of the major projects underway. And now let's open it up and let's hear everybody's opinion or what they want to do in terms of learning.
Yeah.
And so that's more of ambassadorship. It's not paid. Nobody gets paid.
Yeah.
etc. But we onboard. I mean, the lifeblood of this thing is projects and people working on projects who then want to go further and move on up to premium membership. That's the lifeblood.
Mm.
And I feel it's kind of probably just being squandered because people come in, they get a little bit intimidated, and they go away. Or there are project scrums, but they're not available in the time that the person can attend,
right,
etc.
Yes.
So we need something else in terms of, let's make it easy to, we can call it onboarding, whatever, but let's be the warm and friendly AV that people can get involved with without being intimidated, and without having to read page after page after page of project description and trying to figure out what the hell's going on here and how can I get involved.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, like steps, like you were saying,
Yeah, so we were talking about, in the marketing context, like different, like, there's all these parts of this different funnel. And I mean, have you guys done Steve Case? Steve Case, is it launch something? What's it called? Yeah, he's got like a course on Audacity. Just appear instantly, please. Yeah, how like this, the Lean Launchpad. You guys ever?
No.
No.
Never seen it.
There's one on Coursera that was.
Yeah. I mean, I did startup engineering on Coursera. It was a lean startup. He's got this, diagram of, this is really like pretty much. You guys have seen this, right? This kind of thing.
I haven't seen a graphic exactly like that, but
yeah. But I think, and this comes from the startup, and for-profit world, but I think it just equally applies to us. That there's basically, like particularly now in the context of the Google AdWords, but word of mouth, there's a potentially large number of people, I mean, 2,000 or 3,000 a month, landing on our site, who like may be becoming aware of what Agile Ventures is. And then there's kind of like a smaller subset, and I think it's probably much smaller, like 3 or whatever, that start to actually kind of pay a bit more attention. And then, we have this sort of trade-off. There's some people who get kind of involved long term. And then some people actually, sign up and become paying members and, maybe even upgrade and so on. And there's an extent to which people who are having good experiences in the paid programs in Agile Ventures, might tell their friends about it or what have you, and that helps pull people in. And it's kind of, anyway, the funnel certainly as described kind of makes sense to me. And I think you're right, Pat, when you say, that there is, to a certain extent, the lifeblood is, people coming in and working on the free projects. That said, there's this kind of balance between, some of the people who come in and work on the free projects can be extremely draining in terms of resources and actually not contribute very much. They can potentially be extremely active in a Slack channel and questioning what everybody's doing, but actually not necessarily helping move them. And sometimes they can actually kind of knock a project on a project that might have had with different members being involved. I mean, I guess I shouldn't emphasize on the negative thing there. But yeah, that I think we have to be we want to convert as many of the people who are coming in and help them find places in the organization and the structure that are where they can usefully contribute, but onboard them in the right way, and so we kind of help them fit in and contribute in a positive way to the projects that they're joining. So one of the things we could be doing is sort of trying to describe or even draw this funnel for us in more detail, but certainly like the thing that you're describing there, sitting at some point in the beginning of this funnel to help people get from that stage of, I'm kind of interested, but I don't know how to contribute, to get them into the point where they're in positive contributing roles could be extremely valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at this point, we have a lot of technology. It used to be Ruby on Rails only, which is great, but now we have React, we have Elixir, we have ABC. There's a lot more opportunity to get people involved.
Yes, and I think that's a really healthy movement, and I think Free CodeCamp is still doing like almost all parts of this funnel kind of better than we do, I would say, like from what I can see. But one of the things that they do is that they don't particularly espouse a particular team methodology, as far as I can tell, like in terms of actually the teamwork and like doing BDD or testing particularly. Oh, well, I think they have them. They have those things in there. But from their point of view, it's like you're starting from scratch, you know, and it's JavaScript and it's JavaScript stack. And I think to differentiate us from them, which has sort of happened naturally, is that we are multi-stack and we're about, you know, we're not assuming that you're coming in from scratch. This is, you know, Agile Ventures is for a community of existing junior developers and above. I don't pretend to say that this is the way. If you are first starting out from scratch to learn to code,
it's not going to work.
And that it ends up being more about, it's less about learning a particular technology stack, and it's more about understanding the agile process of helping solve a problem with technology, where you might be using any one of a number of technologies, or you might even, through the process of discussing with the customer, that actually there isn't a problem to be solved, it just needs to be looked at in a different way. And that's really important to me.
Or you may want, you know, you may become a product owner. You interface with the client, you interface with the development team, you're on the team, but you don't code. And
right,
exactly. I'd love to see that, actually.
Yes, and I think we have one or two people in different places like who've done that. It would be great if we could connect our funnel up to more people coming from non-technical areas who wanted to practice their project management skills, their in marketing skills, their you know, customer relation skills by being involved with technical folks. So, but I was pleased to be able to share that, and as I write my blog, I'm so verbose. I will one day, when I eventually pass away, probably be far more concise. Yeah, I think this is. I mean, it was great what Sage has been doing, like having these sessions to kind of like onboard people. I mean, I guess for someone to take the initiative on something like this and make it happen regularly, where each week a different project kind of does a kind of like, oh, well, this is our stuff, and you know, this is how we do it, and so on, or what have you, would be fantastic. So
yeah, I think the thing with Sage was good. I was pushing him to have a technical overview, and he did that.
Right,
which is great. The problem was that the people who showed up are the people who've been involved with the project anyway. I think there was one new person who was mute the whole time and never said anything.
Right.
So we don't even know who that was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. Publicizing these things is difficult right now. The channels are not a great way to get it out at this point. I don't know what is a good way, but
no. Well, yeah, I mean, it may be something that we need to work into the redesign of the front page, and the front page is kind of like actively showing, you know, the upcoming scrums, but maybe, you know, we don't want to be funneling people into scrums in the first instance. Maybe what we should be doing is, rather than advertising this upcoming scrum every moment, because all the people who are kind of like involved to agree are kind of coming in through Slack and what have you, maybe it should be that we should be advertising like once a week, you know, this is the next onboarding session. Like, because if this is the place where people are landing, if thousands of people are landing, you know, I mean, I've always sort of thought, oh, they should just jump into a scrum and then they can, you know, they can ask questions and see. I think there are issues here, which is that because it's a Hangout on air, the first thing they see when if they do get up to the courage to click on the Scrum link, the Hangout link, the first thing it says, it pops up a little white box. So you've all seen many times where you have to click the checkbox, right? Yep. And it says, other people will be able to see you and you will be recorded. And like, I think for a good vast, like 80% of people, that's like really intimidating, right? They're just browsing through the web, they're reading stuff and whatever. And suddenly, right, you're going to be on television.
Yeah. Right.
So, I mean, maybe what we need from this page is that a countdown that's saying, yeah, like, you know, there's going to be this weekly onboarding for new folks thing, and it should be not a Hangout on air. It should be a video session. It doesn't have to be. We might record it, but I think if we can, if we did it with, I mean, it's frustrating that the Hangouts on air kind of the ability to record becomes combined with public streaming. Whereas actually, if you start the thing from YouTube Live, then it can be that you record it, but it's not actually. That's what I'm doing for the marketing meetings. So, of course, doing all that would be, you know, changing the website. So yeah. But please, whatever I can do to help, you know, if you or anybody who's watching the recording of this and so on, whatever, wants to take the initiative on making this happen, I think that may ultimately be a much stronger way to get people, you know, to provide to get through these steps, to get through the funnel, so to speak. If we can provide a kind of non-TV experience where we are kind of within in the site. I mean, the thing that Michael was we were just looking at, like, okay, let's get the action to happen there. So the sort of steps is that we, Google AdWords paying people to get on the site. Maybe the first, rather than before trying to get them into the a weekly, ambassador meeting, we should try and get them to subscribe to our newsletter as a kind of lightweight, we've got your email, so that we can then, like, occasionally, once a month or so, say, hey, the new ambassador thing is starting, and this week, what have you, and it kind of go like this is the lightweight next step, and then we've kind of, I think this is what a lot of other people are doing, is you want to, like, because you can get the person on the site, but then they go away again within like 3 or 4 seconds. The critical thing you want to do is get their email, so that you can follow up with them later and say, oh, you found us the other day, let us tell you more about the great value you can derive from interacting with us, and then maybe start to bring them back in, and then they would sign up for a full account, which would give them the Slack invite, get them into an ambassador meeting, actually join a Scrum, and so on and so forth.
Okay, well,
the app created and is got a new newsletter.
Say again.
The guy who wrote the book.
Abby Grimm, yes.
Yeah, he's got a new newsletter.
Yeah, I've just been chatting with him actually on Slack. I'm in the Greater Than Code thing, and I was telling him about our group, and he was asking us. He was saying, I was telling him how much we like. Anyway, well, I'll talk about this in the more programming thing. But yes, newsletters. It's the way forward.
Back to the future.
There we go. Great. Well, great chat there. As I say, anything that I can do to help you or anybody move this forward, Pat, just let me know.
Okay, let me think about this.
Queens.
Yeah, good thoughts.
Nice one. Good discussion. And apologies as usual for me. I just can't stop talking. I'm gonna go and get some calming tea and bagels. And Matt, we'll in about 10 minutes we'll do a session.
Okay, I'll start the hangout. Got it.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right, great.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now.
Bye.
Bye.